order.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the call to order. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed say no. Did it pop up on yours? Were you a yes?
Yes?
It is not showing up. It's showing up on mine. It is.
Okay, just not sure. 7-0.
Passes 7-0. Consent agenda. Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, just in your consent agenda this evening, board meeting minutes from previous meeting, some documents from ECC, Hayes Rec minutes and agenda. There's some financial information in there. We also have the disposal of obsolete surplus district property. That's the ECC bus that was replaced back in October that we're going to get rid of on Purple Wave. On personnel transactions, just want to highlight retirement. Laura Gaughan, who's been with the district 30 years, will be retiring at the end of the school year. Wonderful educator. Kirk Maska, who already retired once, but is going to get to do it again, and just from assistant football coach at Hayes Middle, as well as Dave Rupp, who's been with the district 10 years doing some custodial work for us. And that's all I have, unless Chris has anything for financials.
We're good? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Weiner, I'd like to pull out 2.4, 2.5, and 2.6, please.
2.5?
2.4, 2.5, and 2.6.
Did you hear that, Jess?
Yeah. Okay, just to confirm, you're pulling out financials, disposal of obsolete property, and personnel transactions.
That's correct. Thank you.
Okay, you can refresh now.
Next on the agenda is the public forum.
Wait, I need a motion.
Oh, I apologize. I need a motion for consent agenda.
I'd like to move to approve the consent agenda.
We have a second? Ken Brooks seconds. It's been moved and seconded to approve consent agenda. All those in favor say yes. Yes. All those opposed say no.
No.
Passes 6-1.
Passes 6-1. Next is 4 presentations. 4.1. I keep skipping. I apologize again. Public forum 3.1. Somebody wanting to speak to the board? Okay, let me read this first, please. Okay, the board requests that all members of the public respect the rules outlined below so that everyone that wants an opportunity to provide input will be given the chance. Speakers are asked to start with stating their name and address where they reside. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes to make their presentations. Speakers are asked to make only points that have not been made previously. Except to clarify questions, board members shall not interact with speakers at the open forum. The board asks that all members of the public respect these rules so that everyone that wants an opportunity to provide input that has not already been given will have the chance.
I'm Becky Hill and I live in Hayes. I just wanted wanted to make I want to make this point on all these papers, your agenda stuff and all that. It says that documentation concerning these items has been provided to all board members in advance to assure an extensive and thorough review. So that's what it says about all these things that you guys are going to be voting on or talking about or whatever. So my understanding is that you guys get this stuff Friday afternoon between 3 and 4 o'clock. So that is not enough time to do an extensive and thorough review. You guys need to be given some weekdays, plus your weekend, whatever. There needs to be a longer time frame. So maybe you can get this information on Monday or Tuesday and have a decent amount of time to be able to do an extensive and thorough review. Anyway, my thoughts.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, now to 4 presentations.
You bet. We got a big crowd here tonight, and we got some people we want to celebrate. So I have Mr. Cranwitter and Coach Hodges here who are going to celebrate and recognize some great individuals.
You guys hear me? I'll just use my coach's voice. It's an honor. Anyway, well, thank you for having us here to talk about some accomplishments that some of our kiddos have done this fall season. When in 2022, the spring of 2022, brought to you the possible adoption of bowling as another activity for our students to participate in. And we thank you very much for voting in favor of adopting unified bowling and interscholastic bowling as another sport for our student athletes to participate in. So just going to give you a couple of numbers here, and then I'm going to introduce our coach and talk about our past unified bowling season. But since the spring of 22, the following school year, 22-23 school years, when we actually put it into place, hired our coaches, got our programs in, and got our equipment. But since then, we've had 71 total unified and interscholastic participants in these past 2.5 seasons. We still have another interscholastic season to finish out for this school year. Some of those participants have been repeat participants. I can't give you those numbers exactly, but for our purposes, we've had 71 total. Out of those 3 seasons for unified bowling has had 19 support service students participate in this program, and I'd like to have a round of applause for that. And the reason why I feel that it's notable is if you take the 19 support services students that have participated in this sport, and then if you take out of those 71 participants, I hate to say only, but there's only been 3 multi-sport participants out of that 71. So if you take the 19 support service students and then 68 total new participants, that's 68 total kids that wouldn't have participated in another sport. So since you have allowed us to adopt this program, we have 68 total athletes and 19 support service students that have had another activity to participate in, another activity to letter in, and another activity for them to be able to call themselves student athletes at Hayes High. And I would just like to have one more round of applause. To be able to have a successful program, you have to have a head coach that is passionate, puts in the time. Our head coach owns his own business. He's out on the road 7 days a week, 6 days a week, gets himself back into town just in time to be able to get to practice and get our kids on the lanes and get them ready to go for competition. And in addition to that, we also need a bowling alley that allows us to do that. And I'd like to thank the Harriman family for allowing us and working with us to be able to support this program. So at this time, I'm going to introduce our coach, Richard Hodges, to talk a little bit more about our state runner-up unified bowling team.
Thank you for that. Just got some highlights that I want to point out, but in addition to the 71 total participants over the last three seasons and the 19 total unified bowlers, out of all 3 years that the program has been around, we have seen nothing but improvement from every bowler across the board. Okay. The other teams in the WAC include Garden City, Great Bend, Liberal, and Dodge City, all of which are 15-plus year programs, and 2 of which are 20-year programs, and all have many regional and state championships under the belt. With all of this mentioned, our Indians still have managed to upset their streaks to claim, for the last 3 seasons, 33 third-place medals, 30 second-place medals, and 36 first-place medals. That is not an easy thing to do. We've also earned our way to the regional tournament 6 out of 6 attempts, a top 10 in state the very first time out, and a state runner-up plaque to bring back to the school. Our coaching staff appreciate the time that has been provided to get to know these athletes and learn as much from them as they have learned from us. At this time, I would like to take a little bit to go through everybody, but if everybody, all of the athletes themselves could stand up and kind of give a round of applause. I've got a few names I do want to highlight. The regional and state team include, but definitely are not limited to, Ethan Coleman, Lucas Miller, Lucinda Mead, Tyler Hune, Keaton Brown, and Ben Bergman. I've only mentioned a few of these names, but they couldn't have done it without the help of their teammates to get us as far, even give us a platform to even take a shot at regionals. At the same time, I really hope that we have your continued support and the support of the rest of the community. And I can't end this without giving the Centennial Lanes and the Harriman family a shout out as well. They're good friends of mine. I've gotten to know them over the years, but again, it is just an absolute ton of work to put something like that together. Between the countless hours that I put in myself, my assistant coaches, and Centennial Lanes, it couldn't have even happened without them. Also, the athletes themselves, commend you guys. Big round of applause for you. Please keep up the hard work, and I hope to see you again this next year. Athletes, all right, I got to give you some instructions. We're going to shake hands with the board, and we're going to take a picture right up here. So, starting right over here, let's just head that way.
Really? You gotta go back behind. You better go through Lance, you better cut him through there.
Circle around, kind of go through here.
Yes.
We'll start over with Mr. Park. I'm just going to work your way, and then just line yourselves up shoulder to shoulder right out in front of the table here. We're going to go right up here.
Congratulations. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Good job.
Good job. Congrats. Now stand.
Congratulations. Congratulations. You were here early. Congratulations. 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 You're sitting in the back row. You can't speak from the back row. Congratulations.
Good job.
I told you how to speak.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Good job.
Yeah, watch that court. Good job. Congrats. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job.
You put them that way?
Before, let's stand in front of these guys right here, just kind of move over in front of them, kind of hit the gaps here.
Hey, Lance,
Yeah.
you want to flip them so the parents can have a picture? Here, flip them. Here, line them here.
I think she wants to take them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Turn everybody around.
Just, I always think about the moms, you know. They're going to be up here with us.
Yeah, I don't mind.
All right. Okay, now, let's come this way a little bit, and then just turn around so the parents can see you. They can get a picture.
There, wow. Very good.
Perfect.
Got to get the mamas. There you go.
One more round of applause. All right, nice job, guys.
All right.
And at this time, are they
Yeah, they're good to go.
able
You can
to
go.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Unless you want to stay for the whole meeting, you sure can.
Come on.
Thanks, sir.
I bet that was a noisy bus on the way home. I don't know if we do or I don't. It was in the paper. I don't remember where it was at. No, but it was in the. It was on the Hayes Post, I guess, where I saw it.
Okay, yeah, not only have we had success in bowling, we've had success in lots of other things. And so while I had Mr. Cranwater here, I asked him to kind of give an update on our fall sports and some of the neat things that we have accomplished this fall.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. I'll be brief, but as you can tell, we're going to need a bigger trophy case at some point. So the new school will definitely help out with that. But yes, it's been a very successful fall, and I'm not going to go over every accomplishment, but just kind of run down some numbers. And but first of all, what I'd like for you to think about and appreciate is that the decisions that you've made and voted to approve in regards to facilities, equipment, turf fields, and so on, are our success is a direct reflection of those decisions to be able to, in regards to updating our facilities. Month by month, year by year, we are on a more level playing field with our competition, especially in the Western Athletics Conference, which shows with our receiving the WAC Champions Cup for the first time last year in the history of us being in the WAC, with the multiple state appearances that we've had over the years. And with most recently our football team for the first time in school history making the state championship game coming up this Saturday. So a round of applause for those folks. Just a little information on that, just to let you know publicly. The game is Saturday, 7 o'clock, Welsh Field, Emporia State University. We will be following the 4A state game. We will be having a send-off for the football team at 11:30 on Saturday morning. So we plan to kind of make it a pretty big deal. So anybody who wants to arrive, we're going to put out publicly that if you want to start coming at about 10:30, we hope to have some food vendors, drink vendors there, and line up along the student parking lot nearest the curb area by the school, and then send them out with some of our emergency services folks. We will be headed out and then going down Canterbury to 22nd Street, since 13th is still under construction and closed up. But we will invite the public to line their cars up along, we've already been given permission to line their cars up along 22nd all the way out to Commerce Parkway, and honk your horns and clap and shout out for our football team on their way to the state championship. So the next time we are in here celebrating sports, it'll probably be to recognize the football team, and we hope to bring home a trophy that's just a little bit bigger than this one. So anyway, any questions in regards to fall sports?
No, I just want to comment, just kudos to the coaches and the kids that participate in those sports activities. You know, the sacrifices they make every day just practicing in itself shows real success in those kids' lives. And I appreciate Hayes High for everything they do for our kids and all the activities that they have offered. I want to give hats off too. I'm a little partial to cheerleaders, but they too sacrificed on their send-off for Saturday because they were already at football the night before and then had to go Saturday straight to Topeka. So they missed their state send-off, which was Saturday competition as well in Topeka. So kudos to those girls as well too in participating in that. So
one of the nice things we were able to do on Friday before the football game, we did have an assembly to recognize the accomplishments of the fall sports, and we were able to talk about the cheer team a little bit too. One of the senior leaders, senior cheerleaders came up and spoke to the student body, and Mr. Crow gave a big shout out to him also. But yes, and in addition, the community support with the food and everything that goes along with that, just coming to the games, going to Great Bend in a pouring rainstorm, and you know, enduring that. We just appreciate the community support, and hope to bring home some more trophies throughout the years.
and the good-looking bus
Yes.
was very, very, very cool.
Very
to
nice.
see.
Yes, appreciate, that's very
Made
much
you proud to be
appreciated.
Indian.
Being able to go to Liberal in a nice bus makes all the difference in performance too, yes. So.
Mr. Cranwitter, can you explain the WAC trophy? You said it was the first time that what entails on that? It's for all sports?
Yes, so
Or just fall sports?
it's the name of it is the WAC Champions Cup. I want to say it was adopted as a overall award for the school in the WAC that accumulates the most WAC championships. Postseason championships, which I'm not quite sure, don't count towards the point totals. So anytime a team wins a WAC champion, is the WAC champion, they accumulate so many points. I want to say it's 10, 8, 6, so on, for depending on your placement. So last year we won 9 of the 16 WAC championships that you could win. And so because of that, we accumulated the most points and allowed us to win the WAC Cup for the first time.
So that was for last year?
That was for last year's point totals.
And how long have they had that?
Since 2009, I want to say, something like that.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Superintendent's report.
Okay, I'll run through a list of things. Just some bond updates. Roosevelt, it's officially our building now. Move-in started actually Friday evening and over the weekend. Lots of work was done, lots of teachers putting in lots of extra time. Today was once again more moving and setting up and lots of things going on. Things are, I mean, I was there this morning quite a bit, but I'm assuming that it probably looks drastically different already. And so we'll be ready to bring everybody into the new addition starting on Monday once everything is finalized. So credit to everyone. Also want to remind everyone about the ribbon cutting ceremony, which will occur at 5:30 December 2nd. Hopefully the board will be able to attend that. The exciting time. Hayes High, just give it a quick update. Nabholz will be at the next meeting to give a bond update, as well as they'll have some design clarifications, some change orders that will need to be asked the board to approve, as well as softball dugouts, bleachers, and press box to complete the softball facility. O'Laughlin, just a quick update. You will start to see the construction site being mobilized next month, some fencing going up, job trailers, those kinds of things, and really weather permitting, the major construction, although there might be some small things done before January, but most of the work will start in January. That's if weather is going to allow us. Hopefully we can get started there. Hayes Middle, really have had a really good last couple weeks, just a lot of preliminary discussions with the middle school, Mr. Albers, and some teachers about classrooms and looking at areas that will probably not be covered during the bond and just how we can meet some of their needs. So we had some really good conversations there. We have a pretty good plan, I think. Felton Elementary, just for the board, I did meet with the Wilson Elementary staff just to talk about their future move to the current middle school building, which won't actually happen until August of 26, but answered some questions and really good feedback from staff, and they I think felt pretty good after our meeting. Also, just information about negotiations. We did meet with HNEA for the first time Monday, November 21st, just discuss some employee health benefits. Really, the result of the meeting is just asking Gallagher, who's our health benefits consultants, just to run some different benefit scenarios for us that will hopefully be brought back to the next meeting or at a future meeting. So that's just kind of where we're at with negotiations. Also want to make the board aware a little bit about Board Docs, which is our board management software that we've been utilizing the last 6 years. We were just notified recently that Board Docs is no longer going to be supported by the parent company, Diligent, who bought out Board Docs about a year ago. And so we are looking at reviewing some other board software programs. We'll be doing that very soon. And hopefully we can come up with something that is good and close to Board Docs. And just also the Blue Ribbon Task Force on screen time. Recommendations on student screen time were presented to the State Board at their November meeting. State Board will consider those recommendations coming up here in their December meeting. Our plan, I know we talked about that as possibly an agenda item, and I said at that time, let's wait until that happens. So I just wanted to make sure that you're aware that they're still on our radar. I think at some point we'll have a meeting and discuss what those recommendations are and how those might fit in the future for our schools and district. So that's all I have.
Do we know what their recommendations were?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole list of them. A lot of them deal with just devices, how parental controls, what expectations with personal devices at schools. Once again, these are just recommendations. I imagine that the State Board will say, it's up to the local board to decide. So I can forward those, I'll include those in the board docs, just so you can see them, although the state board has not approved them yet, so,
Okay.
but I'll include them.
So when we go to look for them, they'll be in this meeting or just?
Yeah, this meeting, yeah, I'll just include them.
Mr. Wilson, how often does DLR come and to do meetings here in our district? Is it monthly?
DLR?
Yeah. Or the,
I don't know if it's monthly. They do check-ins on the projects.
so like on the design of Felton Elementary, when are they doing? Now you have the thing with the meeting with the teachers. That's great. Are you going to meet with the board on some of those recommendations so that we can see the plans before they're presented to us?
Once we have those finalized, yes, I'll bring those.
Well, what I'm asking is, can we be part of those meetings before they're
No,
finalized?
you cannot be part of that meeting. These are meetings that we're just having discussions. I'll bring them to the board and you'll discuss it at the board.
That you'll bring the finalized project to us?
No, you'll get to vote just like you voted on everything.
Okay, so there's no way that we can be part of that planning process? Is that
No.
what you're saying? So the board is not part of the planning process of Felton?
Yeah, we've talked about this, Alan, is that we've had great conversations. The staff has everything in answering questions and figuring things out. So,
Okay, I'm looking at the process we did for the high school. We had several meetings with the whole community, and then Laughlin, we had no contact really with the board.
I will
Now
bring
here
it
at
to. I will
Felton,
bring that to you when it's
when
ready.
it's finalized, and that's too late, because we should be part of that process, because there's 7 people here should listen to that and give our input of what we think should be part of that. I'm glad you did the teachers, that's primary, but board should be part of that process too.
We've been through this numerous times.
And it hasn't been done correctly. in my-
Well, I've heard that numerous times from you. Yes.
I kind of feel like I have had a say in it because they gave us that original run through and I asked a bunch of questions and then I gave my opinion there and I emailed my opinion. Like I thought that was what the understanding was. Like we gave our input then and then they gave their input and teachers give their input and then we get like the final approval. Like I thought that's...
We're not micromanaging. Micromanage is daily, every day, but we're not doing daily. We meet like twice a month. That cannot be micromanaging. Going down to our opportunity to be at that meeting in Wichita with the KASB, I talked to several architects there and said, what is your process? What did they tell me? Well, we meet with the board and the project manager. We don't have a project manager. I said, what? You know, project manager? With that big of a project, you know, a project manager? Multiple times. I said, well, what do you normally do? And they said, we normally request, we don't have a project manager, at least have a building committee with at least 3 members on the board. Can't have 4, but at least 3, so that they can have input and they're updated and they bring it to the board so that we have part of that process and not being blindsided. I feel like sometimes, here it is, take it or leave it. It's like going to a dealership and say, this is what you're buying. And you don't have any say on options or colors or anything. And you say that that's part of our job as a board is to be giving input on these projects. We're spending the community's money and we should be talking about it. It should be brought up in public. They should be hearing it. Instead of behind closed doors and only a few people, I don't know who they are, administration and the architect, but all the people I talked to, at least 3 different architects, I asked them, what's your process? And this is what they said. Maybe we can't go back and do it, but we ought to be able to do the future projects. We should be more involved. If you want to, all you have to do is invite it to a meeting. They're having a meeting with the architects. We can then ask questions. We can't have more than 4 or more than 3.
So who gets to decide who's there? The way they've been doing it has been good. I mean, you're saying it's behind closed doors. Nothing they do where it's brought to our attention. We've had input. If anything, you ask for it to be at almost every single meeting. You would be happy if DLR was here at every meeting, but that's not a reality.
It is a reality. In fact, it's usually expected by all other boards that they're there at least a month, once a month, to come and do an update. And we haven't seen them hardly at all.
We get an update every
4 or 5
single
times
meeting.
maybe in the whole process.
We get an update every single meeting.
Not from the architect.
Yeah.
I guess, so on your administrative content, the Hayes High School, Nabholt's come in with some change orders and whatnot.
Yeah.
Are you planning on, like, they're going to come tell us what they want and we vote on it the next meeting after that? Or is it,
Well, we would hope that you would vote on them at the meeting.
do we know what the change orders are already?
They're designed, yeah.
I mean, can you send those out so we have time? To
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't tell you what they are. They're just things as they go, they look and say, hey, we need to tweak something here, and so.
Yeah, I just think that, a little bit more time, like was mentioned, and to look over stuff would be helpful. And I guess kind of looking through, so Roosevelt is turned back over to us, but there's still like 1.7 billion. Is that just outstanding stuff that we haven't paid for yet? Like, we've already taken school over, but yes, there's still like a 1.7 million encumbrance out there.
I don't know exactly, yes. I mean, whatever is left, Nabholtz will, in a sense, write us a check back after everything is done. But I don't know where we're at as far as, what has been, yeah.
How much?
But we will have money coming back to us. The way I've looked at it, I don't think what's left will take the entire amount, so.
Okay, I guess kind of going down to that section ahead is, the furniture and whatnot. Is what we're going on tonight, like all the furniture for Roosevelt, should be one and done, or is it going to be?
Yeah, it should be taken care of.
Kind of get Roosevelt all the way done.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be pieces here or there that I think probably, as they went through today, I spent time there, and they're saying, we need some storage, we need some shelving, those kinds of things, but those are very small things.
And I guess as far as your comments to Ellen, I mean, I'm not a teacher, I'm not an educator, so I wouldn't really know, even from the board's perspective, of what their needs would be, even on the student level. You would, because you have been an educator. So to me, it would kind of be, I don't know what the needs are. I mean, I know you need a building and you need heat and air and a desk, right? But as far as that goes, I guess I kind of feel kind of like Ken and Jamie doing a little bit of, that's what we have them for, as what we need. Your input would probably be valued because you were an educator. To me, I don't know that I'd be of much value, again, because I haven't been an educator and won't be an educator. But I mean, I agree with you to a point to where, as far as the spending goes, so I do agree with that, Alan. But as far as what the needs are, the teachers themselves and everybody else involved, I wouldn't be much help in that.
But I think Alan has a point as far as like if the teachers and medical administration said these are our needs, our wants, and then what's left over, and then we look at what the what the DLR, what the possibilities are, and try to pick what since we're supposed to be the purse strings, we're supposed to be the ones kind of be like, okay, we need to do this, then maybe at the end of the day, I think we're responsible for the taxpayer money because we're the only way that we're elected to spend it appropriately. So I think that more oversight is needed, but I think that if you guys could bring options as far as teachers say they absolutely need this, they would like this, and this is maybe, and different options would kind of put it together as the project's going.
Everything will be brought to you, absolutely.
Well, it's all brought to us after to Al's point, like everything's brought to us to vote on that meeting. It's not a process.
You don't have to vote. We'll bring it to you. When you vote, is once again strictly up to you. If you say we want another meeting, absolutely, you can take another meeting.
Yeah, I think that's something we often forget about, is we do have the right to table it, and I don't think we utilize that as often as we could. And I know that some projects are kind of a tighter deadline, and I understand that, but I mean, I usually have no problem with tabling something, and I'm fine with that.
I mean, you say that, but then like the tennis courts, last time, like we could table and try to get better data, without, adversely affecting tennis players, but we choose not to. I think it's a lot easier to.
I'm sorry.
Let him finish, please.
Yeah.
Well, I just think it's a lot easier to do things as, the project is going than to at the very end try to table it and make changes after things have already been set in motion. I mean, like, it's easier to say, we got these options, we got, this many square foot, this many rooms, and this is what we need, and try to figure out what would be best for teachers and then also for the taxpayers as far as best bang for their buck, so.
And it's so weird to talk about like what's best for for teachers and for schools, because I've only taught middle school and high school. I have zero idea what an elementary school needs to succeed. So like putting me on a committee for an elementary school, I would not have a lot of input. I would have a lot of input on whatever the teachers want, because I have zero idea. Now, I do know that when they presented Felton Elementary School, I took a lot of notes and I had a lot of questions, and I did have concerns about the cost of the bathrooms and the location of the bathrooms, and so I did the only thing that I could do, which is I emailed and I asked questions, and I went on a tour, and I went with Kurt, and we asked like where was that water main going to be connecting so we could get a visual on it. And so like I am doing a lot of research on my own time outside of this. A lot of times that can't be like broadcast, because like, I mean, do you guys want to go on a field trip? I don't think Tom has the time. I don't think anyone wants to do that right now. So like, I hope you understand that is happening. And I know you take a lot of notes too. Are you emailing and asking those notes? Are you getting feedback? Are you getting responses?
What do you mean?
So like you're taking notes on, I see you take notes during, like we sat next to each other, I see you take notes during board meetings with your questions and concerns, which is amazing. That's what you should be doing. Are you emailing those questions and concerns to Ron or to DLR or to, I don't know how to contact DLR if we're being honest, or Tom or anything like that? Because I think that's a valid way to approach it, and the responses that you get, we can send to Ron, and Ron can send out to the entire board. So that way we can be collecting more information as we go and we don't feel blindsided. I think that's a very easy middle.
I think it's reasonable.
Yeah, just for clarification purposes, just so you understand, we've had 0 design meetings on Felton or Hayes Middle. I mean, we've had just initial comment, and everything that we've talked about has been shared already with the board. But so we've had and don't plan to have any meetings until late this spring. I mean, so that's the thing, is we've not had any of those meetings. The meeting I'm referring to is the meeting with the staff, myself, and also with some Hayes Middle and Mr. Albers, and just how we look at things. So just so clarify that.
That's the way I understood it, sir, and I think that's great. I just think now we're planning.
Yeah, and everything will be brought to
There's
you.
coming up, let's invite us to go. Just like your meeting when you guys did the tour. I mean, instead of
If you'd like a tour, I will give you a tour. Absolutely, you're more than welcome. Anytime. You've never asked. I think every other board member has asked, and I have given tours. You have never have.
I have asked. I asked Jess when I.
Well,
when I
I've
couldn't
said
go
at
to
this
that
meeting
one.
many times, I will give tours, and you knew
I
that
appreciate
message.
that.
You've never asked.
But I don't think that is the best use of your time all the time.
I have to say, that's what I do.
Because
100% his job.
But I mean, to Jamie's point, like, yes, when we went to the school board orientation, the meeting that the Kansas Association of School Boards put on, it's what one member knows, everybody should know. So I think any question that's sent that gets a response should be emailed out, just kind of what like was with the iPads and computers. Like, if there's communication, that's a question answered, and obviously we can't send out to each other, but it's going to have to come from you guys to us as a group. That way, if I have the same question, fine. And maybe I didn't even think to ask the question, then it's clarification. But I think that would be helpful to any question posed to anybody on the administration that gets an answer. Just come back to all of us.
So if you've done that multiple times, then that should be sent to all of us so that we can see what your questions were. That'd be great.
Okay.
That'd be very helpful.
My other thing was, I lost it. I take it back. Oh yeah, I don't think I'd want to be in the initial planning meeting with teachers and staff. And here's why, like, I'm in a different position now than I was when I was an educator. So when you're an educator, they're your peers and they understand you. But when you switch positions, all of a sudden it's a different dynamic. And I don't want to influence their choices in any way. I want them to be honest with DLR on what they want. And then like my job now is to see if it's feasible. My job is no longer to say, I think you should have this. My job is now to say, okay, that's what you think you need. Can we do it? So I understand. I think it's really frustrating that like the communication is splotchy, I think. But I think now we're on the same page. Emails will be sent out. It will all be discussed. I think that's okay.
I agree with you. I wasn't requesting to meet with the teachers. I think that I agree with you 100%. I'm thinking that once they get started talking to, and they get all that data, that we should be included with that when we talk to the DLR, and be able to ask them questions, say, well, what about this, just like Mr. Yarmer said, is that we should be a part of that process instead of after the fact, because to me, that's rehashing stuff that could be done and be more efficient if we do it while they're doing it. That's just my point.
Yeah.
And I guess I wouldn't want every single email that we all email. I would think that Mr. Wilson would have enough that if we all are questioning the same thing, he would say, hey, the board needs to know about this. If Ruth's just asking, I'm going to answer Ruth, and I always get a response from this whole team within that afternoon. If I email that morning, by 5 o'clock, I have an answer. Always have. So I don't know that I necessarily want an email from each person and each answer. If it's something that needs to be brought that you don't understand, and we all maybe question the same thing, then yes. But I mean, you've been on the board for 4 years, Ellen, you probably know more than I do. But I feel like if I have a question, I can go directly to them. And I have gone to, other board members as well, too, with questions as far as on email. And I usually email the president if I have a question or something I feel that needs addressed, and I include Ron and Chris in those emails as well.
Well, I think that's fair, and if you don't want to be included in the email back, then, leave you out, but I'd be interested in what other questions the other board members are asking. You can fill out my inbox.
I would agree with you. For example, I called Chris today, left a message. It was late in the day. He got back to me right away. And then I gave him my questions, and he said, let me go look. Came back. He does a great job as soon as he could. And this is a busy day. But our timeline is real tight, as you know. And so I appreciate those comments that help. I agree.
Is it my turn now? Okay. So first, I just want to point out that, if we're talking about how we make decisions as a board, if the majority rules on something, that is a decision as a board that we made. Like, even if I disagree with it, the board decided that our mascot changed again. Even if I disagree with it, a final decision is a final decision. So a choice of whether or not to table something, that is, enough of us felt confident enough to make a decision. And that's a decision that we made. That's it. That's final. And so I feel like parsing that choice and whether or not we're doing it right it's kind of silly. We did that decision. If you want to wait, you want more time for stuff, ask for it. And if most of us agree with you, it will happen. If most of us don't, it won't. So first of all, that's just procedural. Exercise your authority, use your voice, have a discussion, raise some questions. Maybe you'll convince enough people that, we're wrong. Second, but to the larger point of this conversation is that I have been through a public renovation of a public space as an employee in charge of a department. And those funds were public funds. And the board was responsible for paying those bills. The decision to spend the money was made in advance by the board. The decision to spend it on certain areas was made in advance using board members as part of that committee. We were on that committee to build the bond package. Maybe not us specifically, but the board was represented there. And so then the board chose to put this out for vote, and the community decided to spend it on these things. That is what's happening. And if as I recall, once that portion of the decision, when I was an employee doing this, once that portion of the decision was made, the board approved spending. They weren't in there talking about color. They weren't talking to our architects on a regular basis. We were the communication with the architects because we were the ones who understood how the public was using the space and how our employees needed to function. And that is the important perspective when you're talking about designing spaces for people. Programming the space is the job of the people who use the space. So our job is to oversee the financial decisions, and I appreciate every piece of paper that's been put in front of me for all of these designs and how we got a peak at O'Laughlin over 6 months ago. We had a general direction and something of a color scheme. So the idea that we have not been kept in the loop about these things is baffling. And I know that if at any point we had asked for another presentation or another progress presentation, we would have gotten it. So I'm very excited to see the next progress report. I'm really excited to see what the users of the buildings, because I think there have been students that were included on some of these design decisions. Student opinion was also requested and received.
At the high school.
At the high school, at least? Okay. So I know that's the one that those are the ones that matter. And I feel really happy about that. And I think anytime we get those sneak peeks, that gets people excited about it. And I like, that's fun. So I thank you, Ron, for your report. And that's it.
I guess I'd push back a little bit because I remember Kurt asking specifically for the plans for the high school multiple times, back when the high school was, before it was even being constructed or early on in construction. So I don't think that it's been forthcoming.
I did not.
I mean, they were available to us.
I did not have them, and it took 3 or 4 board meetings till I got them. So Dr. Yarmer is correct on that statement.
So I think there's room for improvement. And we have different board members now than beginning. The money's been passed by the people. Like, where you're going to spend this money on the school district is up to us to find the best way to do it going forward. And that's where our input, our involvement. If we're taking the opinions of high school students, I think we should take opinions of the board members. I mean, I think that as adults,
And you were given opinions when it was brought to the board. It was brought to the board several times. So that's inaccurate when you say you weren't given the opportunity.
No, it's completely accurate.
I have them right here.
Okay. All right. I have one comment I'd make, and then we'll move on. I feel the correspondence, if there is a discussion, a question, I think if one board member knows, we should all know. Like the computer thing or the discussion that we got back this week. I think there's stuff going on. I don't think one group should know and another doesn't. Every time I've gone to the KSBA, I hear that every time. If one board member knows, they all should know. And that was from the lawyers at the presentations of, was it last weekend that I was at? Mr. Wilson, from my understanding, the change orders and electronic device discussion from the state, both those things will be sent to us in the near future.
It's already attached.
Is that correct?
It's already attached.
All right. Super. Thank you. Okay, 6-1, Roosevelt Elementary furniture.
Yeah, this is just part of completing a bond, and so we have some new spaces that we'd like to complete with some new furniture. There is 10 classrooms that will be outfitted with classroom furniture, as well as the library and the office areas. We currently we're utilizing right now the furniture that were in the previous classrooms, but once the board approves this, we'll get it ordered. It's going to take a while to get here, but once it gets here, we'll make any furniture that is not needed at Roosevelt will be made across the district, offered to other schools or other classrooms in Roosevelt. Then once again, it'll be put on Purple Wave if we deem it obsolete. And this comes from the bond funds, and
so is this taken out before or after the 1.7 remaining? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't think it's. None of this is. Yeah.
Okay, so it will be taken out after the 1.7 is without this chunk removed?
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
And this is for the open spaces that
The new spaces.
New spaces, okay.
If there's anything additional that they realize that they need, will we try to pull that from the bond? Like maybe when we order for a Laughlin, like throw it in there? Or would that be coming out of other funds? Capital outlay or save on freight?
Yeah, if we have, I mean, I do want to try to protect our funds and move it forward as
Right.
much as possible, but just depends on, I mean, and what we're talking is going to be small stuff.
I would assume we get.
Very small
most of what we
shelving,
need.
some storage cabinets or anything that maybe they feel like they need. So we just have to see where that would be the best use.
When would this delivery date be? Sorry,
I don't really know. Honestly, I don't know. I think it'll come at various times. I think some of the desk and everything will come fairly fast because that's usually fairly gets in storage, in inventory.
Right.
Some of it, I think, some of the furniture that requires some upholstery and things like that in the library, different kinds of fabric, will require a little longer lead time.
So what are we going to do in the meantime?
They're using their current classroom furniture. It's already in the classrooms, and the library is using the current library furniture. And if you come Monday night, you'll see that some of it's older. We've got a very nice space, but this just makes it just an opportunity to upgrade while we have the opportunity.
Thank you.
You said this comes from bond funds?
Yes.
Now, this is Scott Rice. It seemed like we used Scott Rice for other furniture.
Yep.
Just them. Are they the only ones that did it? We don't offer it to other vendors?
Yeah, so I explain that is that it's part of their cooperative purchasing that Scott Rice does. So
What part? What do you mean? That's their bid?
yeah, they utilize the cooperative purchasing. So they got the furniture based on the state contracts or national contracts that they use.
But there's other vendors can do that too, but we don't give them an opportunity to bid it.
Well, just so you understand, on state national contracts, they're already established. Everyone's working under the same contract.
But they still bid the price and they can compete
No,
with
it's not, you
somebody
don't
else.
bid, it's a contract it's established for this piece of furniture, it's this price on cooperative purchasing. They do the work up front.
Bid, like at the.
So everybody would have the same price.
They have a contract
But I'm sure
approved by
we're paying something for their
state of
service,
Kansas.
whether the service part of it.
Maybe.
So it's been bid, not for this specific job, it's been bid at the national level.
So does it go through Greenbush or?
No, this is
Midwest
through Omnia, Tips.
Well, there's
Yeah.
about half of that.
I guess it says that this has been budgeted in the bond project. Do we have like budgeted amounts for like the new high school furniture too?
Sure.
Do we have the numbers for that?
It's $1 million.
$1 million
It's not enough.
for furniture? Okay.
Not enough.
No. I've never heard you say we had enough.
What's that?
I've never heard you say there was enough money, so it doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me.
It's a great opportunity to upgrade. Excited about it.
I'd entertain a motion.
I motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, a motion to approve furniture for the new addition from Scott Rice for $169,411.57. Any more discussion?
Yes, sir. So our plan is to do the same for Belton Elementary. Will we be able, do we have enough money to be able to do the exact same thing we're doing?
On our capital outlay, we have money
But not through bond funds?
earmarked. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, once again, we have not designed Felton, so we don't even really know. They came and gave you estimates, and those are only estimates. Bathrooms were highly expensive. We're hoping they're not that expensive but we just don't know. We don't know what work we have to get done that we feel like a priority, and then if we have some money, we'll spend it on furniture if that's what it needs to be. We also have money earmarked in capital outlay for furniture for those buildings.
I guess I was just at the middle school tonight, used the restroom, like there's one urinal that's already cracked down the middle and then one of the sinks. I mean, there's I think a lot more than just 4, bathrooms and classrooms to be done.
And those are things that we're hopefully will be able to address once we get in and start looking at what we need to do.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little concerned that we didn't already have an idea of how much it would cost to bring things up to standards with the bond money before this point in the bond.
It will be, so that's what the design work will be done.
Any more discussion about the Roosevelt Elementary furniture? Seeing no more discussion, I call for the vote. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. All those opposed say no.
Passes 7-0.
Passes 7-0. Next is 6-2, O'Laughlin Access Control Locks.
This is just the last go-around for Salto locks. O'Laughlin will be our last building to add Salto hardware to the doors being replaced in the areas that will be addressed. Not necessarily with the new addition, as that will come out of bond funds. This is the existing areas, and as we put those locks on doors in the existing areas. We've been doing this at all the buildings. The board's been approving it. This will complete the system, and so we'll have the ability then to increase some measures in terms of just being able to communicate across buildings and how we operate. So. If you want to get technical about the locks, Rusty is out today, so I don't want to get too technical, but this is the last building to approve on Salto locks.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve a bid from Next Tech for Salto access control locks at O'Laughlin Elementary in the amount of $53,789.25.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any more discussion? Any discussion?
I do have a question. This is a capital outlay expense. We've been planning for it.
Yes.
But I noticed that, and maybe the one that I saved is not the most recent version of the kind of planning document that we use, because that's a little more fluid. But this has a lot more dedicated to this, even in the coming couple of years. Is
Yeah,
that
I believe we had
install and stuff?
150,000, if I remember right. Was that?
Like another 150,000 and
Yeah.
200,000 this year. Is that?
No, we're done.
We're done?
So yeah, we'll be adjusting all that.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
I also had a question. When did we approve these salt locks to be put on the current Hayes High?
The current Hayes High,
Yeah.
when?
Yeah, I can't remember when we approved that.
Honestly, I can't tell you, Jamie. But we can look it up.
Wasn't it within this year, Sean?
That's well, part of that 200,000 was we did some of the high school already, and then just wraps it up. We don't think we're going to need going forward. After this, the buildings are there, then it's like one season, 2 seasons.
What was the
We'll buy a
reason?
few more locks, but it's not another big project.
Okay.
What was the reason that we needed new locks on the high school for? Like, because I thought they had just put new locks on it in like 22.
So these are moving everything to the
To the same
electronics, the
system?
badge locks.
Well,
that-
they were badge locks.
So different version, like updated version, because the security on the others, older technology, easier to like swipe the cards or whatever. Some security issues, some programming issues, also the ability to tie the Salto locks into our school safety, the Raptor system. So
Yeah.
there was reasons to do that. Not all of the buildings, not every door in the building was electronic, so we still had, the exterior were electronic, but then most of the interiors were all keys. So we're moving to everything, all of the classroom doors being electronic. If I add the Salto there, they were able to peel back.
Those have battery backups?
So they have internal batteries that last a couple of years.
Like just
Yeah.
in case there's a power outage or something?
Yeah, they're running off of their own batteries, and then they report back to the server when it's time to change the battery.
Well, and one of the greatest features is that now when someone props the door open and leaves it open for an extended period, we get alerts
Same
to,
thing for classrooms?
I don't know about that.
Set it up that way, but I don't know.
This is outside external doors.
Well, we have new HVAC, so that shouldn't be a problem,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Well, now look, there's like 38 units that I see. Is that right? If I add up all those,
That's 38 doors in the existing O'Laughlin. There's going to be more doors in the addition.
and that will be paid by the bond?
what I said.
Yeah, this is for those 38.
Exactly.
Yours.
So that's about $1,400 per lock. That's average if you take 38 into 53,000.
Well, you got some installation and things of that.
Okay. So, but it's the cost per lock if you, even with installation, whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to have 14,
So
yeah.
this wasn't bid either, correctly? It's just because
where are
they've
you
done
getting
the
the-
rest of them.
He's dividing 38. If you look up,
Where are you getting the 38?
I total up
You
all
go
those
up to the- up
numbers.
there, there's a
on one
list. If you
page.
Okay,
hit
but
the-
there's other stuff that they're buying up top as well. So I think this is more than just the 38 locks. It's also everything that goes with it. It's the
with the majority of us logs.
nodes and the lock set and whatever that stuff is. I think there's a lot more that goes with it.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
you're right. I did not add up all those others. So.
We good? All right, those in favor of the motion to approve a bid for Next Tech for Salto access control locks at O'Laughlin Elementary School in the amount of $53,789.25. Vote yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, say no.
No.
Six one. Passes 6-1. 6.3, Lincoln Elementary property sales.
Yeah, we received 2 bids for the Lincoln property, and both bids have been submitted to the board for your consideration. I am recommending to the board that you accept the high bid from Turnkey Property Solutions for $850,000 for the purchase of Lincoln Elementary, and also designate Mr. Jeter and myself so that we can enter into contract negotiations with Turnkey Properties so we can get a settlement of sale. And then once we have that settlement of sale, we will notify the legislature that we are intending to sell this school building. And of course, we have a 45-day window, or maybe they'll let us know they're not interested. I don't know. I hear that it'll probably just, we won't hear anything. So once the 45-day window is cleared, we'll bring the contract back to the board for your approval. And then once that's approved, is that correct? Am I good on that, Bill?
We'll have the board approve the contract before we send it.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Before you send it to the PQ?
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to accept the high bid from Turnkey Property Solutions for $850,000 for the purchase of Lincoln Elementary. Designate Bill Jeter, School District Attorney, and Ron Wilson, Superintendent, to enter into contract negotiations for completed settlement of sale with Turnkey Property Solutions.
I'm sorry.
Okay, hold on. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Discussion.
Yeah, I guess, I'm sorry, I missed the group discussion. I think this was not the meeting, but the, whatever we call it.
Work session.
Work session. So can you kind of walk me through, like, how was it marketed, that sort of stuff?
We sent, you guys, the board approved a resolution. Once a resolution, we sent it out to, I think it was posted in Hayes Post, posted in the Hayes Daily News. I think there was I don't think we put it on a real estate site.
It wasn't multi-listed?
No.
Of any kind? What dates was it at the Hayes Daily?
I'll have to go back and look on.
No, I
It
mean,
was within the last 30 days, because that was when we had our last meeting, or when this was.
Yeah, could be. I don't know.
was there already discussions with these 2 groups prior to being listed?
No.
Okay, so it was all brand new. I guess, and do we have, I don't know if this is part of the contract or farther down the road, as far as when it sells, what the money is used for, like what accounting goes into to repay the bond, or what is that?
Well, I think we've always operated from the standpoint, and it's been included in everything that we've sent to the bond, that this, any revenue that is created from the sale of Lincoln and potentially Rockwell would go back into the bond to help complete some of those projects, possibly at Felton, and things we just have to get done. So that's the money will go into capital outlay. So it won't go back into the bond funds, because we can't do that. It'll be written to USD 49, it'll go into our capital outlay funds.
But it could be paid back to our lender or whatever as far as paying off the bond earlier.
That would be the board's decision. But we're working from the standpoint that any revenue that will be generated from the sale of Lincoln and potentially Rockwell will go back into helping finish any projects that will not be able to be completed through the bond monies.
So basically build a concession stand? It'll basically pay for building a concession stand?
That money is already in capital outlay.
Well, I know, but it's about equal numbers. We can sell a whole school and, most of the city block for what we can build a concession stand for.
Yeah, I don't really get what you're getting at.
I'm saying we overpaid for the concession stand. It's kind of silly that you can sell this whole school and the ground with it for the same price that you can build us. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Any other discussion?
Yes, sir. What we talked about appraisals. Did we get an appraisal on that building?
No.
What is the county appraisal? Do you know?
I don't know.
We had this discussion.
Yeah,
that-
I think it was $1 million.
Yeah, and the appraisal of the.
I'll let you know if you want to know.
It's not the same thing, and what we sell it for is not going to be what it appraises for.
And Mr. Graham is here, I'm sure he would speak on
I don't think that would be appropriate.
of his bid, and, I mean, after the vote.
Hold on. Mr. Graham. Mr. Graham, hold on.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
struggling hearing that.
You're fine. Thank you.
I mean, knowing construction is what I mean, and it being a 100-year-old building with the asbestos removal and stuff. I'm not an architect, I'm not a construction worker, so I don't know the cost that would entail.
The county appraisal, which is usually less than our normal appraisals, get sell for, is currently $3,042,260. And that should be something we should know before we make this decision. We should be looking at all these pieces. Are we really getting what we're supposed to for a piece of property that's in the middle of town, prime real estate, and a building that we just spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on for heating upgrades?
Alan, what's the average price of the home in that area even? And the land that it has. You're also looking at territorial flood area that it could potentially be in that part of town.
Which is part of the revitalization, which is a great piece to be able to tell people. It was not publicized. Did anybody see it publicized anywhere? Was it on our website? Was it on Hayes Post?
Yes, it was on the website. And when I saw the bids come in through this, I was thrilled with the bids of how old that school is and how other districts, other towns our size are just turning them into nothing. And they're being torn down or turned into places for homeless people. And then when you see two businesses that approach this as building housing for the city of Hayes, and they both stated in the bid of how many apartments that it would bring in, 40 owners, I believe, that they could have had in that. That's more revenue to the city of Hayes, more dollars that these people would pay, because they have to pay taxes on this building as well. When they reconstruct, that building appraisal value will go up. So the taxes that they'll have to pay on that property value benefits the school district, benefits the city of Hayes, and benefits Ellis County.
Can I ask the rest of the board, please, if there is any merit to entertaining the additional purpose of the first bid with a slightly lower price tag, knowing the need in our community and understand it? Like, is there any appetite in entertaining the lower bid for the purpose that's listed?
No.
No?
I don't know why I don't know why you would do that, but
Because of the.
What do you mean?
Mine would this was, one of them has just apartments and the other one says, we want to also support for our community a qualified daycare center.
Well, mine would be,
you hold them
with
accountable.
turnkey
You're gonna sell
properties
it.
as being a local a property investor in the city of Hayes and has done several things for the city of Hayes and our community. That's where my decision, before the meeting even I made the decision of how I was going to vote tonight in regards to this. And it was because of the local investment that he has put into this community.
No, but to Alan's point, I think that there probably could have been more advertisement, maybe broadened out to other people, because at the end of the day, the more money that we get for the property, the more we can put back in the school district directly. I'm sure they're going to increase the tax values. I'm sure Mr. Graham would do a great job, and locals are always great. I'm not saying we have to take the lowest bid, but I think that there's probably more marketing that could have been done. I guess the other thing is, like, the first one, the $700,000 from Flint Hills, is they keep everything. It sounded like with, like, the playground equipment and stuff, I guess, was it not? So all that stuff's okay. So basically, we take all that
Once we clean it out, I think that was
What was the conditions of the, we haven't seen any of that. What's the conditions of the
Well,
sale?
if you listen, we have not done a contract yet. That's what Mr. Jeter and myself will do in the contract to spell everything out.
And that's,
I understand. Okay, so when
After the fact.
Jeter and you guys come with a contract, then Turnkey's going to have to agree to that contract too?
No, that's.
How were they under the assumption they were getting the playground equipment or other things, or was that in a previous letter before it went out to bid?
What are they buying?
I thought the bid specified
We have
just
been-
the.
That's what I'm asking.
We're taking,
The
we'll
building
take
and
everything.
plant.
So it's just that was sent to those gentlemen or people, it was the building and the property, not anything,
Yeah.
anything that's movable is, we're going to grab. Okay. And that was out in the letter before they bid?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Well, I mean, but it does
Where
say
is
here.
that letter? Do we have that letter?
it's the resolution.
Yeah.
Was the resolution
It
was
was
passed on September 25th?
Yeah, it doesn't specify, but you have a bid. That's now, the bid has been made. And I'm not going to speak for Michael, but I don't think he wants playground equipment. And so we'll take that, we'll take all the renovations, everything in the building. And so.
But we took furnishings, we took cabinets, we
Yes,
took
they're
all that
ours.
stuff.
They're absolutely ours.
All
We
the
can-
things that are hanging on the
We can move it
wall.
off of a wall, or we can move it, yes. But we're not going to move the building.
But that was a part of the contract that he saw.
There is no contract, Alan. There's a
I
resolution.
understand
You
that, but
approved it as a
no, he
board.
purchased something just blindly that's whatever we come up with.
That's a question you can ask him. He's here if you'd like to ask him that. I don't know. He
What's-
did walk through the building several times, I think.
Well, we do have a past sale of a building that we've done in the past, and we got about almost 50% of the appraised value. We're looking at less than 28% of this value.
You're putting too much on that. These are the non-tax buildings, so the county's not always has all the information for that property valuation. I don't think it's the same thing as if it was our homes or anything like that. That is not what we need to go by for a sale.
I disagree. I think it's appraisal. I think our
I
county
get that
appraisers do a good job.
You've told us that. Every time we've talked about this and we've voted for this, they've done everything we've asked. You're just belaboring the whole point.
Well, we haven't. We did ask to get appraisals. We didn't get those. We did ask that maybe we'd market it, put it out on multi-lists. That hasn't been done. We haven't put it out there. We have two bids, and we're talking about a difference of millions of dollars that we could use for projects or to help repay the bond. I think it's irresponsible of us to do this right now if we don't table it and get more information.
Mr. Wilson, how many people did you give tours through the building?
I think there was three different groups.
Besides these bids?
Yeah.
Or?
No, it was-
No, including these bids? Really?
I think it was just three
Okay.
groups. I specifically did not give them myself. Rusty took them through, but I think it was three groups.
You're talking about an investment to these people with interest rates at an all-time high right now. So they're borrowing funds, and you're talking commercial property. It's not like you're in my borrowing. It's not like you're in my borrowing at 4.5 to 6.5 to 7.5%. You're talking higher borrowing, more money down that these people have to invest in. So again, I will state that I think that the offers that were made on this particular property were more than fair, in my personal opinion.
Getting 3.4 acres in the middle of town and a building that has been maintained and is in good shape, and it will be there. I mean, if they didn't think it was in good shape, they wouldn't be buying it. And so why won't we try to get a fair market value? I don't think we've got fair market value here.
Mr. President, I call for a vote.
I would move to table it if you can.
Okay. So I need a motion to, if you,
You have a motion.
Yeah.
I understand, I got it. Is there a motion? Is there a second to, your motion is to approve the Lincoln property sales, right? Mr. Brooks?
Well, Ruth made that motion, I second it.
You second, I'm sorry, so you're calling for the vote. Okay, so there's already been a motion and a second. I don't know this law part. We need to vote on this, and if it's turned no, then we make a motion to table if that's what they want, or does motion supersede? I don't remember.
Well, yeah, you have a motion already on the floor.
That's what I thought.
To vote on.
Okay. Okay,
Mr. Weiner, could we have a roll call vote on this, please?
not a problem. Okay?
Is it every vote a roll call vote?
Well, she'll have track of it, but you want,
Say
By
it,
name.
Sharon.
well, Jess, can you please call names as they vote, please?
Adam Clark, how do you vote?
No.
Brooke Minor, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ken Brooks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Megan Secretary Lillipoff, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jamie Gettis, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ruth Gruger, how do you vote?
Yes.
Derek Garmer, how do you vote?
No.
Okay, motion passes 5-2. Thank you, Mr. Graham. Appreciate it very much. All right, 6-4, recording of work sessions. This was brought to be included on our agenda several times. When we have work sessions, it's always asked, and for as long as I've been on the board, how come it's not recorded? Should we record it? So it's brought, we're going to vote on it, so this will be, the discussions can cease. So I will make a motion that recording of work sessions will be implemented in the future. So that's the motion. My discussion would be, it would be available for our patrons to see, just like our board members.
Second before discussion.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep. I'll entertain a second. I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Okay. The motion's been made and seconded that recordings of work sessions will occur in the future. Okay. Discussion. I will vote yes for this. The reason being is, A, I think our board meetings are recorded, so should our work sessions, so the patrons are privy to that information that's discussed there. Also, I think it's important if we have a board member missing, it's a good way to go back, watch it, you're caught up. You can't gain that information other way, and it's everything everybody else had heard. So that's why I will vote yes. Anybody else?
I have some questions. Mr. Jeter, when we pass motions and make kind of board decisions that are more, I don't know, that make us do more than the law requires, is that putting us in a bind of, like, because that's basically saying our open meetings records that are required by law are not good enough. And so we're saying that our recordings are actually better or something. Like, it's more, is what I'm saying. Minutes are open. Meetings are open. They are meetings if all of us are here. We have extra meetings sometimes. We have 2 meetings a month. We're only required by law to have 1 meeting a month. I think my question is it good practice to decide that the policy is to have, for example, more meetings per month and do more precise recording of things?
What do you mean?
Because what if we
more
don't?
precise
What if someday
recording?
the video breaks, the video camera breaks, and then we don't have?
Well, you're not by law required to video.
I know, but we're
the meeting.
breaking our own policy then.
Well, if the video breaks, that's an accident that happened and you don't have any control of it. Just
but
get
we're
it
still
fixed
breaking our own
before the
policy.
next meeting.
And Mr. Jeter, also, if the next board wants to not record them, they can make the motion and vote
Sure, you don't have
vote that
to-
way too.
you don't
This is
have
not
to
forever and
record
ever.
any meeting.
Right.
Yeah, correct.
So that's a board decision.
I have another question regarding our guy who records them. His name is
Jake.
Jake.
Jake Deckett.
Jake. We budget his time to come once for our regular scheduled meetings, right? And do we already budget his overtime to do the extra meeting?
It'll be additional.
So
I mean,
this will
well,
cost-
he's on a supplemental, so he'll be making less money per time now. If this is the direction of the board, the thing, and Chris and I have talked quite a bit extensively about this, I feel like probably our best option then would be to, I call it a fisheye camera that we would mount there that just gives an overview that records. We could then eliminate Jake. It's just going to be some dollars, capital outlay dollars that we'll need to spend.
But, I mean, we could put the camera on a tripod and have the whole group covered too.
No, I mean, it's not as simple as that. For the kind of broadcast, there's a lot that goes on back there. And so if he's making all that work, it's a broadcast. So
How many views do we have?
a lot. I've never actually seen it. Never watched a board meeting.
Okay.
Does
So I don't really
Does Jake know?
Multiple views, yes. Well, how many cameras?
Been
You
up
got
to
one, two.
I understand. Does Jake know how many people view it?
Not as many. I don't believe that.
Oh, views?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't look.
Okay.
Don't care.
What is his stipend that he gets paid? Is it hourly? Is it like
No, it's a
flat rate?
supplemental.
It's a supplemental.
Supplemental, but it's designed, it started years ago when this was part of the class, right? So
Yep.
in the AV class, video
The
production class.
video technology
That
director?
has evolved to where they do sub-varsity games, things like that, to get grandma in Arizona can watch,
Right.
all of those things. So this is kind of a side note to it. It's not even done as part of the class now. His supplemental is for the class and the extracurricular, and then he does this for us as well.
So currently, he's getting paid to do 17 meetings per year. And if we were to prorate that, I would need to know, we would need to pay him that much for each additional meeting. For that would be 3 additional work sessions. Even if he is not here physically, hi Jake, even if he is not here physically and recording, he still is in charge of upkeeping and maintaining the equipment, downloading and uploading, and all of the little magic that they do to make it
And we're talking upgrades. I mean, if you guys gone back and watched the meeting, the only person you can really hear is Kurt. If you go back, the sound system sucks.
In his defense,
The
Kurt is
visual
always the
sucks.
only one.
It does. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
But it does.
that would be part of the upgrades.
It would be part of the upgrades.
It would be much better.
And we have to make sure, if we're going to do this, Christina Janney with Hays Post does a
that a
fantastic
compliment?
job of recording our work sessions as well as our regular meetings. She does an excellent job. She's here all the time, an excellent reporter that we have here for us. We should be grateful to her that we have her. The city and county do not record their work sessions. I will say that. I guess I have nothing to hide as far as the work sessions anybody can attend. We're in a different little environment when we do that. You know, the way our tables are, it's not like this. So you're going to have some different camera angle changes and whatnot too. There's no vote that's made during work sessions, so everybody understands that. I have watched board meetings before I was on the board, and when I watched, there was an average of 10 people that watched the actual board night. 10. So
28 watching right now.
Yeah, I looked at
28 watching right now.
And 2 of them don't count because it's my husband and my
Yeah.
grandma. That does not count. Does not count.
Like, I scrolled back through also, and
Right,
it's
but-
between like 150 and 200.
So people will watch it
views
later?
Generally, yeah.
Okay.
Or there is one with lots and lots of views, but it was, I think, the one that we went over the high school, design in depth.
I just feel like if you're going to put it out to the public, then we have to have the right equipment to put it out to
Because
the
it's
public.
not accessible as
It's
it is
not
now.
accessible.
And there is a big difference between the work session and what we're doing here. Because of us not voting, that's information, it's supposed to be a more comfortable setting so that we can learn from that. It's not a political setting. Public's allowed to come. We're not doing anything behind anybody's back. It makes more sense to keep it as is.
Well, I missed that work session, and I really would have liked to have gone back and, been able to see what I missed.
Oh, I agree. I missed a work session earlier this year because of weather, and I would have liked to have been there, but that's going to happen.
But I don't think it has to happen. I think this would be an easy fix, so it would solve a problem, a potential problem.
And to talk about Jake's, I mean, we haven't always had work sessions. We've had all those meetings before. We didn't cut back his salary when we dropped those 4 off.
A different person.
We
But we
kept the
didn't-
supplemental the same.
We didn't do sub-varsity high school events either. So when we went to one, the time had been filled, so it would be reduced now.
And we have 4 months, I think we just have 1 meeting. So a third of our months only have 1. So it's not that, but the percentage of the time we're cutting back of people not being able to see what's going on. And I agree with you. There was, Mr. Brooks, there's a lot of excellent information out that they come in, principals are talking, we get some information that it's great to have, and I think people would like to hear that too.
I'll just reiterate what, like Ruth said, our city and our county don't do it, and there's a reason. It's just time for us to get information and help us make decisions, and politics is not involved. Put the camera off, politics is not involved.
And also, I ask some pretty stupid questions, and I would love it for people not to watch me ask those stupid questions so I can make
Over and over
educated
again.
decisions.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, I shall call for the vote.
No, there's no vote.
Huh?
No, he made a motion.
There's been motion, it's been seconded. All those in favor of a motion to approve recording of work sessions will be implemented in the future, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Those opposed, say no.
No.
Motion fails
4-3,
Oh, yes.
correct? Motion fails 4-3.
Now,
Next.
Can I make a motion? I make a motion to table this. I would genuinely,
Whoa, it'll have to be on the next agenda.
Can't table something we've already voted down.
Yeah,
you can't.
no. It'll have,
That's why I ask stupid questions.
it'll be,
I want it to be-
if you want it, if you have a different motion, it'll have to be on the next agenda.
Okay.
All right, next is 6-5. And then during discussion, Jamie, if you want something tabled, then you have to express that if it votes no, I would like to table.
fine.
Okay, all right, financials, 6-5. Mr. Park?
Yes, I got some information from Chris this afternoon, which I really appreciated. The thing I wanted to comment on is that we had on there snaking of drains again, and cleaning up of the bond fire, and that was pretty expensive. And it seems like that we have very capable staff that we could be able to do that. And didn't we just make a change in our lineup of our maintenance staff that we got 2 extra people to do minor maintenance, or reassign them to all they do is minor maintenance? Like, is there 2 custodians that used to be head custodians and now go to 4 buildings and do the maintenance? Is that not accurate?
I'm not sure I understand.
We have 2 assigned.
Additional staff,
That
especially.
we're reassigning because of our additional staff of having other people do the cleaning, so they have more time. And so we have our maintenance staff, which we have some certified maintenance people that we pay more for, who are, I assume, licensed, like a licensed electrician, a licensed plumber. But you don't have to be licensed to snake a drain. And what I'm saying is, I think we should be able to have our staff do that. We bought a tractor with a loader on it. Well, can't we clean up the bonfire mess? And do we have a trailer to dump it in and take it to the dump? Why do we have to spend almost $1,000 to do that. I'm just saying, how can we do a better job? We've done some things different with maintenance. We shouldn't be able to call a vendor just to snake a fountain drain. Those are, I mean, pay $150 to do that. And I guess that's a concern of mine. I think Mr. Yarmer brought that up before. What's the problem with our, and we're going to have more of that. We're not going to have less because of the high school and the way that drains will get clogged up. So we're not going to, that's not going to come down. That's going to be more. We should have people in place to be able to do that. We shouldn't just automatically call a vendor to have them come in and do that. We used to do that. The other thing is we spent $6,000 for a ceiling, suspended ceiling. We used to do that in our maintenance staff. We'd put in ceilings. Is there a reason why we can't have our people do that now?
I guess my question too is, like I asked a month or two ago as far as the main sewers for Roosevelt and O'Laughlin. Has there been any reported problems that you guys know of? Recurrence issues? No?
Snake he's talking about was in the high school.
Well, I understand, but I was kind of curtailing on to snaking in general that I had asked, as far as with the bond project being finished at Roosevelt and getting underway at O'Laughlin, I had heard that the main sewer lines of those two facilities are basically at the end of their life, but that hasn't been brought to your attention.
No, I mean, as far as what Nabholz is doing, there is sewer stuff, so maybe that will get caught with some of the things that they find as they tear into things.
My point, if what I've heard is true, is that, and I guess my wife was actually subbing at Roosevelt when it backed up after the completion, or towards the end of the completion of Roosevelt, that there's still a problem with sewer backing up at this point. So it wasn't caught then, at Roosevelt, which, that can be a pretty major problem. So I'd ask you guys to look into it. I just didn't know if you looked into it.
Absolutely. Well, we have old buildings and we have old sewer lines, so.
We did have, but we finished the renovation on Roosevelt, and if that was a major problem, that should have been part of the renovation.
But, yeah.
So,
I mean,
Alan,
because, if that would have been the desire for the design to go in and add new sewers, but that was not the recommendation.
Okay, I guess this kind of goes back to the conversation earlier that we're not involved in the early part of the conversation to know what the problems are. We're at the end to approve it. And then when we find out that the things that might be important to, the taxpayers, the students, the sanitary thing, when we find out that that is a problem, then it's like, well, you guys should have allocated money at the beginning. Like,
we do have money allocated for repairs, so if we do need repairs for Roosevelt, we'll take care of those. And that's what we do. I mean, we have to understand, we have over 4,000, 4,500 people in our buildings every day. So we're going to have those kinds of issues, and those do happen.
But recurrent issues are something that need to be addressed. Like a one-off thing, like kids shove something down the toilet and it's clogged up is one thing. But there's actual physical problems that are known. The purpose of the bond, you always say it's just space, and space was part of it, was also to get, the main things, like, sewer, electricity, like, the things that you actually absolutely need up to standard, like,
Absolutely, that's very important to a facility. But also teaching and learning is a big part of what we do, and that's what we really was focused on the bond, is creating teaching and learning opportunities with additional space.
It's a lot easier to learn when you're not smelling sewer back up, too. Yeah. I mean, like, I think that the two kind of go hand in hand there.
Absolutely, and we don't want, anytime we have a sewer situation, we're going to address it.
Well, it sounds like you didn't, because I asked about it, and then you didn't even look into it, whether it is a recurrent problem. You could tell me, no, it's absolutely fine. I'd be like, okay, I guess I'm wrong.
Well, we can spend more capital outlay dollars if you'd like us to spend the dollars.
I would like you to
It'll have to be brought to the board,
and
probably.
fix a problem. I mean, if there's something out there that needs fixed, that's fine. But now at the end, we're done with the whole bond project there. Everything's hunky-dory, and maybe there's still a problem.
Oh, there will be problems. I mean, it's a public building that is used, and over 60%, 70% of it is 50-plus-year-old building, so there will be issues. I have no doubt.
Paying $150 to snake, like he said, is cheaper than paying another employee that his job is to snake out toilets or whatever lines we do all day. paying an extra employee to do that. So I think that was money well spent.
You don't think there's...
Everybody has maintenance in every building that they do. Any job that you have has extra maintenance expense that is not recognizable at the time. So our maintenance people that are there, their job description probably isn't, you're going to snake out toilets every Friday. It's probably cleaning rooms, cleaning up after accidents, basketball games. When you talk to janitorial staff and the time that those gentlemen and women put in just to be at a basketball game, that they clean the floors, emptying the trash, making sure the bathrooms are clean, then you're having additional time that you're paying in overtime. To me, it's just common sense that you would pay somebody who could come out for a half an hour and fix it for $150.
If you didn't have a staff that was capable of doing it, you're right, but it's not overtime, it's during their day. And
Not necessarily, Alan.
And when I had a problem, I would
If it happens
call
on a
maintenance,
Friday,
and
it's
they would
not.
be out there to fix it.
Mr. President, I want to make the motion to approve our finances as presented.
Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any new discussion? Seeing no new discussion, all those in favor of passing the financials vote yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed vote no.
No.
Passes 5-2.
5-2. Passes 5-2. Next is 6.6. I'm on a computer.
Yes, sir.
Personal transactions.
I would just like to comment on a couple of retirements. Laura gone, like Mr.
Alan, we did it earlier.
What's that?
We did it earlier.
Yeah.
I know, but this is a discussion that I...
Please hurry.
Oh, yes, sir. Laura Gone is a career educator, and she not only is awesome with kids, she having the opportunity to work with her, she's just a great staff member, and I just wanted to comment that we sorely miss her and her expertise, because she has served our district for a long time, and that'll be hard to replace her. Dave Rupp is a person too. I've had the opportunity to work with him. He was a hard worker. He's worked 14-hour days for a long time until recently, and not just in our district, but he'll be missed. And of course, Kurt Maska has served our district a long time. Also helps us with the Hall of Fame, which is greatly appreciated. But those staff members are great. And the reason that I pulled it because from what talking to about consent agendas, we're not supposed to discuss anything. So I pulled it. I've got a couple articles here. Explains consent agendas. I talked to the people down at KFD, and so that was my reason.
Do you have a motion?
I'll move to approve the personnel
Second.
transactions.
It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion or new discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say or vote yes.
Yes.
All those opposed vote no. 7-0. Yes. Passes 7-0. Next is 6.7, disposal of obsolete surplus district property.
Can you explain, Mr. Hipp, about this sale, and so that people who are watching will see what we're doing?
We're selling an ECC bus that was replaced with a new bus October 24, and it will be listed on Purple Wave.
You mentioned Purple Wave. Have you sent out the results from the last Purple Wave?
I don't have those yet.
Can you do that, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
I was informed it hadn't occurred yet. Have we sold them? You'll release them as we get them. Okay.
May I move to approve this sale of the old bus?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to disposal of obsolete and surplus district property. All those in favor vote yes.
Yes.
All those opposed vote no. Passes 7-0. Thank you, Jess. Okay, we will convene into executive session. Mr. Wilson, there'll be no vote when we return, correct? We will have no vote after executive session. A motion to go into executive session pursuant to Kansas Open Meetings Act for the purpose of personal matters for non-elected personnel in order to protect the privacy interest of an identifiable individual. And the meeting will resume in the boardroom at 20 minutes? 20, you think 20 minutes?
15 would probably be plenty.
Okay. We will return at 8:35. It gives you a few minutes for a break. This meeting will occur in the training center. All those will be 7 board members and Mr. Wilson. All those in favor, vote yes. Yes. All those opposed, no.
Who was going to be in it?
7 board members and Mr. Wilson.
Do we need our computer?
No.
I'm going to beat you there.
Kurt did.
I did. Do you remember who seconded?
Whose code is that?
Remember who seconded? Dr. Yarmer seconded.
Christina?
And we all said yes for code.
Oh, it's
We all said yes.
Passes 7-0.
We said yes.
Okay. Mr. Wilson, will you show